The NFL offseason, it's just pure chaos, isn't it? You see star players changing teams, these massive contracts getting signed, and then these shocking cuts that seem to come out of nowhere. It is a lot to keep track of. But, underneath all of that noise, there's a cold, hard, calculated game of chess being played. So today, we're going to break down how two very different teams are navigating the exact same ruthless business. And it all kicks off with this, an absolute bombshell. The Miami Dolphins have released Tyreek Hill. Yeah, you heard that right. That Tyreek Hill. One of the most electrifying, game-breaking wide receivers in the entire league is just suddenly without a team. And your first reaction is probably the same as mine. Why? How does that even happen? This quote from NFL analyst Sam Acho, it just cuts right through all the confusion. This move, as shocking as it is on the surface, it isn't really about emotions or what a player did for you last year. Nope. It's about the brutal logic of business. So what does the balance sheet on a decision like this actually look like? Well, it really boils down to three pretty unforgiving factors that every single front office has to wrestle with: the contract, the body, and the clock. And for Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins, all three of those alarm bells were ringing loud and clear, all at the same time. Okay, first up, let's talk about the money. That number you're looking at, that's the staggering amount, $36 million, that Tyreek Hill was set to make in salary and bonuses for just one season. That puts him in the absolute top tier of earners in the entire NFL. For Miami's front office, that was a number they just couldn't stomach. Now, get this. This is how much it costs the Dolphins for him to not play for them. They're going to take on $28 million in what's called dead money. It's basically a financial penalty for cutting him, paid to a player who won't even be on their roster. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about how desperately they wanted out of that contract. This timeline just shows you how incredibly fast things can unravel in the NFL. So Hill arrives in this blockbuster trade and is immediately dominant, right? He earns all-pro status, which means he was one of the absolute best at his position. But then, a really sharp decline in his production, and that's followed by a devastating season-ending injury. For the front office, the risk of what might happen in the future suddenly became way more important than what he did in the past. So here's the crucial point. It wasn't just one thing. It was the perfect storm of all three of these factors coming together. You've got the massive contract, an injury that directly threatens his greatest asset, his legendary speed, and of course, the fact that he's turning 32. In the cold, hard math of the NFL, that equation only led to one answer. But listen, a decision this big, it never happens in a vacuum. It creates this ripple effect that touches not just the player, but teams all across the league who are suddenly paying very, very close attention. The biggest question, of course, is about Hill himself. I mean, he's trying to recover from a torn ACL at an age when most receivers already start to slow down. His entire game is built on that explosive, game-changing speed. Can he get it back? And maybe more importantly, which team out there is willing to gamble millions of dollars that he can? Well, there are several teams out there desperate for a deep threat. The Chargers and the Steelers, they're possibilities for sure. But the most fascinating one? Oh, that's a potential reunion with the Kansas City Chiefs. Think about it. He'd be returning to the team that traded him away precisely because of his contract demands. Only this time, he'd have far less leverage. He'd have to be part of the band, not the lead singer. And for Miami, you gotta understand, this isn't some isolated move. It's the beginning of a big spring cleaning. They're clearing the books, moving on from expensive veterans like Hill and pass rusher Bradley Chubb. It's signaling a complete philosophical reset under a new general manager and a new head coach. Okay, so while Miami is performing salary cap surgery to get rid of a massive contract, another contender, the Cincinnati Bengals, is wrestling with the other side of that coin. What happens when you've already paid all your stars? This comparison just lays out the two different challenges perfectly. Miami's issue was a specific, unsustainable contract they had to shed. Cincinnati's issue? It's a fundamentally lopsided roster. They've invested a fortune in their star quarterback and receivers, but their defense has completely crumbled, and it's led to 3 straight seasons of missing the playoffs. You can almost hear the frustration in this quote from Bengals star receiver Jamar Chase. He's not being subtle at all here. He is publicly calling out the obvious imbalance on the roster. That's the voice of a player on a high-powered offense who's feeling helpless as he watches the other side of the ball just consistently let the team down.
I mean, the imbalance is just staggering when you lay it all out like this. On one side, you have these massive, top-of-the-market contracts for franchise cornerstones like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And on the other side, a defense that hit historic lows, has suffered from key draft busts, and is about to lose its best pass rusher, Hendrickson. It's a recipe for expensive mediocrity.
So what's the fix? Well, they do have money, over $73 million in cap space. But you can't just go out and buy a whole new defense in free agency. It doesn't work like that. Their only real path back to being serious contenders runs directly through the NFL draft. They absolutely have to nail it. They have to hit on young, affordable, and impactful defensive talent, something they just haven't been able to do in recent years. The pressure is just immense.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. You've got Miami shedding a huge contract to get flexible. And then you have Cincinnati already locked into big contracts, desperately trying to build around them. Two completely different problems, but they are both just moves in the same high-stakes game.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. Think of it like this. Every single team in the NFL is trying to solve its own unique puzzle. But they all have to follow the same unforgiving rules about money, about time, and about health. Success isn't just about having great players. It's about being the smartest at managing those assets and knowing when to make the ruthless but necessary business decision. Which kind of leaves us with this one final thought. In a league where loyalty feels like a luxury and careers are brutally short, teams constantly face these tough choices. Choices between the players they love and the championships they crave. It really makes you wonder, what is the ultimate price of winning?